I'm just going to try to get this set up. One day I'll show you my very fancy, very high-tech system, which keeps my phone charging, if I could actually get this thing to work, that is. Because right now it is being a pain in the butt. Almost. There we go. Thank you guys. First of all, I have to give the hugest... Oh, I'm not touching it. I think we're good. I have to give the hugest shout out, the hugest thank you. I'm going to be posting about this on my socials. Believe me, we had a record number of viewers and a record number of hours and just a lot of different records were set yesterday in terms of watch hours and number of viewers. We also had a record set for, at least I believe, medium. Thank you, whatever you say. Last night was a great stream. You can tell it was a great stream because my voice is super hoarse today. And thank you for the sparkles. And whatever you say, you are one of the people who make it possible to have a great stream. So thank you so much for that. Having my regular audience on here is incredibly helpful. Let me just get this set up. So today we're going to go back to the normal system, I guess, if that's the right term. Not doing a 24-hour stream, although based on how well it went, I feel like I should probably do another one at some point. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of a break. Well, not a little break, excuse me. We're going to do 2 hours today, probably, thereabouts. The first 60 minutes, as always, just hang out, chat, talk about whatever. The second 60 minutes, I want to talk about why it is that I live streamed the fireworks, and more specifically, why I think that we as Freemasons need to be paying attention to these type of things and need to be focusing on, as much as we possibly can, community events, whether it be the fireworks or fairs or festivals, etc., etc. That stuff is really important. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better. And for the time being, I'm just going to wait, see who joins. As always, please take a moment, hit like and subscribe. Raised eyebrow. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. How's it going? There we go. Took a second. I think we're good there. I'll just show you guys my thing. Well, raised eyebrow. I've been on pretty regularly. What that tells me is perhaps you do not have your notification bell turned on. So please turn on that notification bell. That way, whenever I'm streaming, you will get to see me. Or at least, if nothing else, you will see the notification. Congratulations, raised eyebrow. That's awesome. I hope that you had a great time. It sounds like you did because you gave an exclamation point, which is usually a very good sign. But that's awesome. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. And I'm proud to call you brother. Hopefully what this means is one day you'll get the chance to visit the Windsor Masonic Temple. You could join me for a meeting. Okay, so you do your notification bell turned on. Hey, taking a step back, nothing's wrong with that. I understand that sometimes you just want to kind of focus on, I guess, your internal journey until, you're through the degree, which is awesome. So good for you. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. And yeah, I think that's awesome. No, each degree is special. I think a lot of people really love, especially their first degree and their third degree. I feel like the second degree sometimes suffers from middle child syndrome, doesn't quite get the attention it deserves, but they're all special degrees. You'll have a great time. That's awesome. Nice. Jason, I don't know if it's still in use or if it's been sold, or sometimes old Masonic buildings get sold and then repurposed for other uses. Maybe the Masons are still meeting there. If you're ever interested, just go knock on the door, see if anybody answers, and talk to them. Can't hurt. Or, they might still be using it, and it's just a matter of again, you're not able to, they're not meeting regularly, or they're meeting once a month. But it's amazing. It's called, the term is called frequency bias, right? And once it is, that you start thinking about something, whether it be Freemasonry or anything else, suddenly you start to see Freemasonry everywhere. It's a really cool little thing and a really interesting thing about like life in general, right? You find that also even raised eyebrow when after you've been initiated, you're going to start to see people talking about Freemasonry everywhere. It's going to be really interesting. So that's really cool. All right, guys, as you know, the first 60 minutes, we just hang out, chat about anything, don't have any specific talking points. The next 60 minutes, though, we talk about A, why I was doing and rocking out the fireworks, but also, um, why it is that I think it's so important that we in Freemasonry celebrate these types of events. Hello, Gooey. How's it going? Thank you for being here. And thank you for the star. That's very kind of you. By the way, I was at 4,291. I lost 2 subscribers, so let's see if we can get back up to 4,290, or even 4,300 would be cool. I am not. Illuminati doesn't exist. I know that's what you'd expect the Illuminati to say, but they do not exist. I am a Freemason, which is not the Illuminati. We're just the first 60 minutes, it's just me hanging out, chatting about anything, no specific talking points. So let's see who wants to join, who wants to talk. I like National Treasure. Barack Obama, by the way, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I don't think you're actually Barack Obama, for the record. Obviously. I mean, I don't even think they mentioned Illuminati in National Treasure. Did they? It's been a while since I've seen it. I like it. It's a great movie. But I don't think that they I don't think that they mentioned Illuminati. Good. I mean, enjoy it. Obviously, study is important, but don't study so much that you don't also just take the time to enjoy it, right? You never sent me the money, Viet. If I do a card call, it was $35.89. You got to send me that, and I'll send you some socks. I don't want to know what you do with them. I don't want to think about it, but I'll send them to you for $35.98. $35.87. You got to send it to me through a super chat. What, I mean, I've got different colors of socks. Is there a preference you have? I've now become that guy. I'm selling my socks online. I don't think I have red socks. You might be on your own. Oh, I do. I have one. I have red socks. All right. So you gotta send me the money though. Actually, let me see if I can create a poll. Well, you still got to send it to me, though. You got to send that super chat. All right, guys, welcome. Thank you for being here. This first 60 minutes, any thoughts you guys have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, let me know. I'd love to hear it. And we're just hanging out. Again, the first 60 minutes, no specific talking points. We just chat about kind of whatever. So let's hear what you guys have to say. Thank you, B. Peters. Oh, Dak Dog with the joke. Getting Getting weird over here, but all right. What is happening now with the I'm not a racist but jokes? They're interesting. All right, we're just hanging out. As I said, waiting to see who joins. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Medium, Instagram, Facebook, X. I'm very grateful to see the number of people we have joining from X lately, from Facebook. My goal was to try to get, as many new people as I could onto the stream, really cross promoting my different Instagram and social media channels, which goes to Freemasonry, right? I think we all need to make sure, as much as possible, that we are celebrating and promoting and using social media, or leveraging might be the better term. Um, Mayo and Oreos, how's it going? Thank you for being here. I hope that you are doing well. Thank you for being so supportive again last night. It was awesome to see. Um, I was grateful that we had so many people joining us last night on the stream. It was really cool. I don't understand this whole weird thing about people using my face on their streams, or it seems very strange. I don't really get the point of it. That's a good way to know that they're trolls, that's for sure. It's very strange. I don't get people. Um, Good. First of all, Mayo and Oreos, go to the doctors, get your blood checked. That's a good thing. And that shows that you're being responsible for your health and for your well-being. So I appreciate that. Good for you. I get my blood checked every year, to my checkup. So good for you. Jesus is God. Amen. Love Jesus. Welcome. Thank you for being here. The boss, 7777. I keep you waiting. I mean, whatever you say, I was going to make that joke, but you got there ahead of me. Yes, I am almost positive the doctor is going to suggest that your love of mayonnaise and Oreos is probably not the healthiest thing for you. PR1R, no, not even for $1 million. All right, guys, we're going to keep hanging out, wait to see who joins. I mean, I would be concerned about some mental health issues as well. But hey, in fairness, we all have our eccentricities. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you everybody who tuned in last night for the fireworks show. It was incredible. I'm going to be sharing some of the analytics, I should say, on my screen. But we definitely had a massive increase in number of viewers, number of watch time hours. We set a couple of records. Part of that was obviously because of the entire 24-hour live stream that we did, which helped grow it substantially as well. But capping it off with that fireworks display worked really, really well. I did say that, and you've been good, so you can be moderator. Now, keep in mind, I usually do my best to, relatively speaking, kind of let people go at least a couple of minutes. So don't be too quick on the hides. A minute or 2 minute timeout is sometimes the best approach, but we'll see. Errol, what's with the number? I'm all right. Are you, bruv? How's it going, Jeremy? I mean, PR1, it's much appreciated. I'm actually a member of a Masonic Lodge out of Tel Aviv. All right, we got a lot of people asking me mods. All right, here we go. I don't know, mods are overrated. I mean, mods are pretty valuable. It just depends, like everything else, right? They have a valuable use because you need moderation. The challenge is, especially if I'm talking about a subject that I'm interested in and passionate in, or a Masonic topic I'm interested in passionate in, it can be very easy to kind of start to ignore what's happening in the chat, and then depending on who's showing up and what nonsense they're saying. Like yesterday, we had a Nazi end up in the chat, and I missed him because I was talking about Freemasonry in 50 years, and so obviously he was annoying a lot of people, and I don't think at that time I had many mods, so. Definitely not turgid banana. Moderation does not equal fascism. That's dumb. Um, that's a very dumb statement. Not getting banned, dumb, but just a dumb statement. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they're growing. I wish they weren't, but the number of Nazis are um, they're already they're up there. I mean, it's funny when I was growing up, we knew that neo-Nazis existed, but they didn't seem to be that big of a deal. But the fact that they seem to be growing in numbers does concern me quite a bit. Um, would it make a difference if I was or wasn't PR1? What I am is handsome, and that's all that matters. Freemasonry doesn't care whether you're Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, whatever your ethnicity, whatever your religion, whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters is, are you a good person? Are you kind, and are you generous to those around you? If you're the type of person, turgid banana, who thinks whether somebody's Jewish or not makes a difference, you're probably not a very good person, to be honest. Um, I know PR1 is concerning me a little bit, but I mean, for now I'll leave him be. Because it seems like it's just a lot of trolling nonsense, but nothing. One thing I usually, I think you just said that once, right? Usually, what I'll say is if somebody insults somebody else in the stream, that's where I usually. All right. I'm not gonna hide this guy. I'm gonna put this guy in a timeout for 10 minutes. We'll see if he calms down a little bit. Hello, eat. I just call you Edify. How's it going? Thank you for being here. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, let me know. Banana is an interesting character as well. Why do you say North Korea is number one? Gloria T. Does that meant to say shekel? Hello, how's it going? LOL, LOL. I was never married, so I can't be divorced. Tom, what is Freemason? So a Freemason is a member of a Masonic lodge. And a Masonic lodge is a social or a civil, or actually a civic club, a community club, a group that has, that evolved from stone Masonic guilds of the Middle Ages and has been in existence for, in some form or another, for about 300 to 400 years. There are Masonic lodges and Freemasons all around the world, and I've been one since 2006, which is crazy to think it's been that long. Ghost breathe is always very good advice. I'm not gonna disagree with you on that one. So welcome, Tom. But it's a club, it's a group. By the way, please, Tom, if you're new to the stream, hit like and subscribe. When somebody has the name or asks the question, excuse me, what is Freemason? My assumption is you're new to the stream. But thank you for being here. Yes, Pastor, as someone who I tend to get fatigued dealing with negative people. Actually, I tend to get fatigued dealing with dumb people, not negative people, but people who make bad choices tends to really bother me. Ultimately, remember, and I know this is trite, but it's true, you cannot control the people around you, and you cannot control whether someone's positive or negative. You can just control yourself and your own actions and your own response. So that's kind of the best I can do for whatever it's worth. I think Freemasonry can give us some advice on that as well, on how best to deal with quote unquote negative people. Because it reminds us of temperance. Temperance is a very valuable skill to have. Again, temperance reminds us that, you know, just because we're dealing with negative people doesn't mean we have to get super negative. By the same token, if we're dealing with somebody who's excessively positive, we don't have to fall for that trap either and become so positive we get presumptuous. You just have to find that good balance. Hippos are Freemasons too. We don't like to talk about it, but it's true. Hello, error. What's Delta Rune? No, Tom. Freemasonry is not a religion. Um, to be a Freemason, you must believe in a supreme being. However, the nature of that supreme being is completely up to you. We have members of all different faiths and backgrounds. What is my favorite Friday the 13th? My favorite Friday the 13th is Friday the 13th, part 6. So the one that you just saw. I think it's incredible. I think that's most people's favorite. My second favorite is Friday the 13th, part 3. I think it's a really underappreciated part of the franchise. BW, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Fet, I am from Canada, born and raised in Winnipeg. Currently live in Windsor. Connor and Vernon, Jesus loves me. Thank you. Keep in mind, Freemasonry is not a religion, but we have many Christian Freemasons who would agree with that. So I agree with you that I prefer the Nightmare on Elm Street films to the Friday the 13th films as well, but I do love them both. I love all the franchises. I think they're all incredible. 2009 is a great one also. I would support that. That's a really good one. Cool. Well, thank you, YouTube, for sharing the love. Please hit like, Fet. Please hit subscribe. I'm a member of a Masonic Lodge in Tel Aviv, Lodge Holy Land number 50. Well, we don't. I mean, the end of it was Jason. I mean, spoilers. It was Jason walking out of a lake, carrying Freddy's severed head, but then Freddy winks at the camera. So you kind of take that for whatever it's worth. The left hand behind the head. I'm not sure to what you're referring. Well, Fet, I would love to. You should hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget about that also. I've heard rumors of that. I did not know if that was true or not, but I've heard rumors of that. I mean, to me, the most logical place to go, if you're going to go anywhere, would be to bring in Michael Myers, but left hand behind the head. I don't know. How's it going? I cost a tetrahedron. Seafood. I love seafood of any sort, but oysters, especially raw oysters, are my favorite. I also love charcuterie boards. I love meats and cheeses. I love like anything pickled. That's something I love as well. So I had a donut. I had a coffee and donut. I actually had 3 coffees and donut. After doing a 24-hour stream last night, I definitely needed that coffee and those donuts. Maybe one day mayo and Oreos. I've got so many different movie ideas about those franchises. I'm just too lazy to know how to write any of them. So even the right hand, like, I mean, if there was a symbol I could think of, I would just tell you. I can't tell you got to join because I don't give specifics. But the idea of having a hand behind the head, I don't know. Donuts are very nutritional. Yarrow, please hit like and subscribe. I am not a cop. Whether I am or not is irrelevant to being a Freemason. That's the most important thing. And you can be Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, Christian, First Nations, North American, South American, etc., and still be a Freemason. Well, thank you, Fet. It's funny, I love seafood, but I'm not a huge sushi fan. I think it's because of the rice. I don't like the taste of the rice very much. I find it has a weird, not even taste, but texture. We don't worship Baal, icosahedron, and you know that's true. You're just being silly. We just got a guy being silly over here. Yeah, we got a silly person. That's all right. You got it. I mean, if you're somebody eventually will come on the stream and say it anyway, so I put him in a bit of a timeout. I did see In a Violent Nature. I liked it. I mean, it was interesting, right? The whole gimmick was it's done from the perspective of the antagonist, right? The killer walking around. So it was interesting. I enjoyed it. Again, I will always support horror. I think it's my favorite genre. I think it's underappreciated just how good it is. So unfortunately, Pastor Sempa, there's a lot of different kind of reasons, but I always go back to the main one, which is it represents a codependent relationship on conspiracy, right? If you are struggling in your life for whatever reason, one of the things that people will like to do in order to feel better and feel like they're in control is they focus on conspiracy and conspiracy theories to make themselves feel better. So they go online, they go on social media, they find conspiracies, they post about them, they share them, and it can make them feel as though, hey, aren't we great? We're fighting these demon worshipping Masons, instead of looking in the mirror and focusing on their own mental health issues and physical issues and all the rest of it. So this channel's about Freemasonry. Fet. This channel's about Freemasonry and the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located. Don't always be timid and don't always be kind, Tom. Like the goal, you have to find a balance, and that's a tough balance to find in life. Like I struggle with it here on this channel, right? When I first started, I used to focus a lot more on trying to just be nice to everybody, and if people were being annoying in the chat, just let them go. I find that that's not helpful to anybody. It's better to be, I mean, just don't be too timid, don't be too kind. Just find a balance. And sometimes the most kind thing you can do is not to be kind, depending on the circumstances. I said 20K, Mayo and Oreos. I said 20K. For 10K, I'll do something else. Tobes, none of that is true. First of all, it's not little more than etiquette grooming for the occult. There's no, I mean, I guess you could argue, so it's not a cult. I guess you could argue if you wanted to, like, I mean, there is an element of etiquette to being a Freemason, but there's an element of etiquette to being on a football team, to team sports in general. There's an element of etiquette to being an employee and working somewhere. There's an element of etiquette to being a customer. You just learn these things as you go, right? Um, I mean, BW, I'm also not a huge fan of the idea of being a monster and learning to control it because, I mean, I don't know what it means to be a monster and then control it precisely. Like, if you're, let's say, heaven forbid, terminally ill and you're in a hospital and you are, have zero like physical abilities to do anything, that doesn't mean that, like, you, I think the problem with this idea of I don't know what it means to be a monster and control it. I think it's just, you know, always try your best in any given circumstances to make the situation around you better within your abilities, period. And as your abilities may be limited. There may be little you can do, and then so be it, right? You may not, the option of being a monster and then controlling it may not always be available to you, but the option of trying to do something in any circumstance to make the situation better for the most people, including yourself, that's usually around you somewhere, whatever your capabilities are. Trolls are interesting, whatever you say. You got to find that balance, right? They drive the algorithm, but they also turn people away. So it's tough. Um, you look like Fix It Felix. Yes. But what does it mean to be BW? What does it mean to be harmless versus peaceful, right? Because like again, what if you're in a situation where physically you are just incapable of creating harm to those around you? Like when my mom she was never a monster at all. She was not particularly meek per se, but when she had, cancer and she was in the hospital, she reached a point where like she was completely physically incapable of caring for herself, let alone inflicting harm on others. I guess maybe verbally she could have been rude, but I don't know. I just think sometimes we're putting too much emphasis on this idea of we're supposed to or expected to be able to take care of ourselves. Human nature is such, there will come a point where none of us can take care of ourselves, depending on our age and medical conditions. At that point, it's about being kind just to be kind. Um, it's a balancing act, as Stephanie Lockhart says, which is absolutely true. It is a balancing act. So is life. Yeah, I've heard that true, Tobes. It's better to be war at a farm than farm in a war. But what if there's no war, but there's a drought, right? What if there's no war, but there's a famine? And you need not farmers per se, but horticulturalists, scientists who are able to figure out how to grow food. I get it. I get what you're saying. I just think society functions best when people find specializations and focus on those specializations to make the whole work. So we need warriors, we need soldiers, police officers, first responders. We also need farmers. We also need doctors. Every skill set is a specialization, and in a society, the goal of that society has to be to specialize enough so we have an efficient distribution of services and an efficient distribution of resources, right? Like if there's a famine, it may be that society doesn't really need warriors, they need everybody to be a farmer. And then they'd be saying better a soldier in the field than, a farmer at war. It's tough. What job would you say we need the least? I don't know if that's such a thing. I mean, streamers, look at me. I don't know if there is a job we need the least. I think every job, probably there's a job we need least in terms of people, right? So like there's probably unevenly, there's probably, so if you have a society of like 10 million people, let's say, I bet you a scientist could figure out like, okay, of those 10 million people, what percentage of them need to be sanitation workers to keep the streets clean, right? Of those 10 million people, what percentage do we need to be doctors to keep the population healthy? What percentage need to be nurses? What percentage need to be soldiers? What percentage need to be lawyers? What percentage need to be plumbers? Right? You could probably figure it out like a perfect distribution of uses and services, but I do not know off the top of my head what those numbers would be. I do think though every job is valuable. Every job is useful. One thing I've been really happy to see as a Freemason who evolved from Stone Masonic guilds is, the fact that the trades, including Masonry, is getting a lot more respect in Canada and around the world, especially through the recent Red Seal training program. David Michael, hey brother, how's it going? Thank you for being here. Politicians, I'm surprised nobody said that. Um, I have no idea. I've never heard of any benefits to nicotine, but I'm not a doctor. So whatever you say, talk to your doctor. Um, that's true. Tobes is not wrong about that. You can be peaceful but not harmless, right? Um, I think most important jobs are the ones who get up every day to provide for their family. Good for you, David Michael. I think that's completely fair, and you're correct. Whether you are, could be anything, whether you are a lawyer or a garbage man or a politician or a doctor or you're working in a zoo, who knows what you're doing. If you are providing for your family and supporting your family, then nothing but respect. We hit the G in Michael? Michael? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, sorry. Uh, I'm the worst at pronounce. I'm going to call you David, if that's okay. Thank you for being here. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We're getting close to 4,300 subs, and we had a absolute record-breaking stream yesterday. So thank you to everybody who supported it, especially came to the fireworks. More people were not watching my fireworks than were, which is actually a really good sign because what that means is what that means is we're getting new people on this stream as well. Mad at you for what, Jeremy? People, no, people need to remember, just don't forget, I'm a YouTuber. I mean, I appreciate you guys, and I'm grateful for everybody who's on here. The idea, though, that I would be mad at anybody on this stream, like, we're not that type of relationship. I'm just grateful you're here, Jeremy. If I'm missing your comments, I don't see every comment. I wish I could see more comments, but sometimes as I'm talking, I'm checking the news, I'm checking X, I'm checking Twitter. I'm not always going to catch every comment. Nice BW. David, once again, thank you for being here. Please hit like and please hit subscribe. I really appreciate it. Do you have any questions or thoughts about Freemasonry? Positive, negative, or neutral? YOLO, which all about? Like, what is Freemasonry all about? Freemasonry is all about, I mean, I suppose you could say brotherly love, relief, and truth. Ultimately, um, it's all about the human desire to belong to a group and to spend time with one another. I mean, Stephanie, I don't know. I genuinely find the idea of the trolls like maybe you F no. Yes, it can drive engagement, it can drive attention, but I also think that there can be um, it's a tough balance to find because yes, they drive engagement, but they do so sometimes at the expense of your regular audience or regular people. So it's tough. I don't know. Matt, maybe talk to a doctor or talk to the police if you woke up in a car that's not yours because you might be having some blackouts. I don't know. It is. It is a double-edged sword. I mean, so is life, right? Life is a double-edged sword as well, which I mean to say there's good. Usually, things that happen in life are not 100% good or 100% bad. Usually, they are a combination of both. Um, it's a great skit, Mayo and Oreos. It is a great skit. I really like it as well. As you guys know, the first 60 minutes, we just hang out, wait to see who joins. And then the second 60 minutes, we talk about specific topics. So, well, if you had lunch with local Masons, um, if you had lunch with local Masons, then you should be already well on your way. You contact them again and you just say you enjoyed the lunch and you've decided you want to join Freemasonry. They should at some point give you an application form. I assume they'll probably go out with lunch for you or coffee with you a few more times. just so they can continue getting to know you. But that's kind of the first step. So it sounds like you're already on your way. So just keep up the good work. I think that, I think that, and they may even contact you again, but you're taking the right first steps. So really, the way you join is you just speak with the lodge, express your interest in joining, and you go from there. Love the positivity, brother. I'm not always positive, but thank you so much. Free my neighbor Mason. I will not free the Mason. We need Freemasonry to remain from not free from attendance and engagement and responsibility and paying your dues. All that stuff is important parts of Freemasonry. So no, I'm in Beirut, not at home. What is Masonry? Well, so David Michael, Masonry is a profession, right? It's stone masonry. It's being able to build things out of stone. Freemasonry is a civic club or group that evolved from those stonemasons. And it's basically a social club. It's a social club or a social group that has existed for over 300 years. I've been a member since 2007. Lincoln was not a Mason, at least not to my knowledge. It is not bad. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the institution itself, the principles of the institution are actually very, very good. Now, Freemasons are human beings, which means some Masons will be bad, some Masons will be good. But if we in Freemasonry are doing our job right and accepting people, into the club after doing our due diligence, talking to them, learning about them, getting to know them, hopefully we are primarily admitting good men into Freemasonry. And every now and then we might make a mistake, but so be it. It is not a cult. It is not a cult for many reasons, but Mayo gives a really good point as well. A cult is run by one person. Freemasonry is decentralized. It's run by many different people in many different jurisdictions. Well, I mean, here on this channel, the purpose of the channel is to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located, as well as share stories of Masonic interest. Darcy, hello from France. However, a book I always recommend that people start with is called Freemasonry for Dummies by Freemasonry for Dummies by Chris Hodap. It's a great, great book and a great place to start. Also, David, thank you for this sub. Are you on Medium? Do you know what Medium is? No, Christianity is not a cult either. Christianity is a religion. More than a couple of years, unfortunately. Well, I don't think you are from South Korea or North Korea, excuse me. But nonetheless, Medium, it's basically YouTube for writing. It's YouTube for written content. And I wrote an article giving a list of resources about Freemasonry that you can check out. So I'm going to see if I can find it here. And I'm hoping, if possible, you will consider joining my Medium. You can do it completely for free. It's no different than subscribing to YouTube. I put the link there. If you copy and paste that, put it into Google, you should be able to find my stuff. Dylan, right now they got 40 votes. 75 no, 25 yes, but actually it makes me happy because what it tells me is we're still getting a lot of new people finding this stream. I don't think that's the case, Fish. One of the things we're taught within Freemasonry is not to be disrespectful of people's religion and religious beliefs. David Michael's from everywhere. But first, please make sure you follow me on Medium, David Michael. And there are some great 60 seconds. All right. We could have left him on there, whatever you say. I wasn't that worried about it. Um, but just make sure to follow me on Medium. I actually had a record day for Medium views as well. So thank you so much for that. I'm grateful. No, that's okay. That's not too bad. I would say the one thing that I usually time out for very quickly without like much warning is if anybody makes any comments about anybody else on the stream. I will call somebody stupid on the stream with no issue, but I don't want people talking to each other on the stream. Yes, I did write about Nightmare on Elm Street on Medium, Mayo and Oreos. Um, it's called Meeting My Horror Heroes. Hello, Stephen John. I did meet Robert England, and it was incredible. I've actually, hold on just one second, Mayo and Oreos. Hold on just one second. Let me see if I can find it. I'll be back in a moment. I always say that, look, Freemasonry is the thing I love the most, and it is. But if all I talk about, or all I think about is Freemasonry, I will burn out so fast, which will not be good for anybody. This is my book of people I've met through scary movie conventions, primarily Flashback Horror Weekend, but not exclusively. Let's see if I can find the picture. Oh, very first picture. This is me with Robert England and Lisa Wilcox. Lisa was from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. I am. I mean, I used to say I was born in a wheelchair, but that's a dumb thing to say. I was born missing my legs. I used to use artificial limbs a little bit, but I've been in a wheelchair since high school, which was scary long ago. We're talking like an insane amount of years ago. Well, May, if you're going to read about my involvement and my attendance at these conventions, let me put the link in the chat, and please follow me on Medium. It's not hard to sign up for. You can follow me there. It's really fun. It takes all my bed. Yeah, I mean, honestly, do I suffer more in the heat? So it's interesting, actually. Sometimes my cushion gets extra sweaty, so that can be a pain in the butt. Here it is, Meeting My Horror Heroes. Let me just share the link for this one, Mayo and Oreos, and check it out. Also, because I'm smaller, I have less surface area, which means I do sweat more. As people will tell you, that can cause me to stink a lot more, which is perfectly fine. Who cares? If I smell bad, that's their problem, not mine. I'm just going to leave here the link to that article I wrote. Please make sure you follow me on Medium. It's super easy. I'd be grateful. Do you see it? It's just above your statement, medium.com, Meeting My Horror Heroes. If you copy and paste that, put it into Google, it should pop up. You'll see a picture of me with Lisa Wilcox, the star of my favorite films of all time, Nightmare 4, Nightmare 5. Ooh, excuse me. USA, I am totally the guy from Shrek. I probably does. I just don't know how. Oh, you mean on your phone? I don't know. But honestly, even if you just go and type into Google, meeting my horror heroes, Cameron Adamson, I bet you it'll pop up. At least I think it would. Miss Emily, hello. Please hit like and subscribe. USA, please hit like and subscribe. Well, this channel is about Freemasonry. We promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities which is located, talk about stories of Masonic interest, and just hang out and chat. So it's also turning my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. Um, the same reason I create content on social media otherwise. No worries. I mean, it's good that you're checking, and I appreciate it very much. I mean, in terms of like, because subscribing is free, that doesn't mean that you should just subscribe to anything without first asking about it and, finding out if it's something that interests you, right? Um, I think it's one of those things where I'm grateful for every subscriber, genuinely. But if you're not interested in it, that's okay too. I just appreciate you being here. I mean, I would say, in my opinion, one of the coolest things that I love about this channel is, and what I try to do is, even people who have no interest in Freemasonry or not interested in ever joining Freemasonry, they learn and they get surprised by all the ways Freemasonry is relevant to their communities, economically, socially, historically. And that tends to keep people showing up again. Also, I think it does create a lot of ideas for people in other parts of their life. So if you're part of a church or a social club or a social group and it's struggling with membership or with attendance or with trying to get new ideas, I find that very often people get ideas that I will talk about as it relates to Freemasonry and use it in their other groups or clubs. Um, well, I mean, you can be, and I mean, what, 23, what do you mean? Like, I always tell people if you're under 18, make sure you have your parents' permission before you're on stream, and before you're talking to anybody on the internet. You're old enough, though, you can check out any streams you want. Or do you mean 23 as in like how old you have to be to join Freemasonry? Um, like Freemasonry, it's a club or it's a group, right? Now, Miss Emily, you'll forgive me, but I'm going to assume you're female. There is the Order of Women Freemasons. There's also the Order of Eastern Star, both of which are the female or the, I guess, sister groups of Freemasonry that you can join as well. Um, Unknown, thank you. Maybe I'll do that for my next job. But right now, um, for this job, I need people to like and subscribe and comment and super chat. No, I mean, I said I'm happy if anybody watches my stream. I don't care whether you're 103 or 23. I don't even, if you're under 18, that's fine too, just so long as you have your parents' permission to watch first. None of my videos are made for kids. I do swear sometimes, whatever it might be, but I'm happy to have people on if they want to learn more about Freemasonry or if they just like hanging out with me. I'm grateful for all of my audience, even if they're here simply to hang out and shoot the poop, shoot the shit, or if they want to learn more about Freemasonry. Taco wrap sounds delicious. No worries, unknown. I know I got a big forehead. Believe me, I have been made well aware that I'm ugly and have a big forehead thanks to this channel many times. I don't mind critiques of Freemasonry so long as they're legit critiques, right? If the critique is like you're all worshiping Satan, that's not a critique, that's just wrong. If the critique, however, is like, I don't know, you're not doing enough to be relevant to communities. That's a decent critique. Oh, chicken pot pie sounds delicious. We have a festival and a carnival next to me. I'm going to be streaming from that, my personal channel at some point because I love carnival food. I love festival food. Miss Emily, I assure you, everybody will point out how ugly I am on this stream. I got a big nose, a big forehead. Now, some people say I'm balding, and I fight back against that because I'm not balding. Look at this head of hair. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, Mayo and Oreos. He knows what I'm talking about. He's seen his fair share of weirdos in the chat. Somebody wants to buy my socks. I don't know what they want to do with them. I'm not going to ask any questions. But some people want to buy my socks, and I said I'll sell them to you, but it's very strange. Much appreciated, Miss Emily. Honestly, YouTube makes trolling a lot easier for people to do, unfortunately. It's just social media in general. It's hard to walk down the street and yell at people you're ugly, but you can go on social media and put that in like 30 chats. So one day when I make it to Canada, I'll have to cook some. Pause for some people have been more confident and said, nice to me and said I look like Matt Damon, which I'll take. So, Miss Emily, how do I join? Well, Freemasonry is different in different locations, right? I'm a member of lodges in Canada. My lodges are fraternity, so they're male exclusive. It depends where you live and where you are, but um, what you would need to look for is, especially in North America, your best bet is to look for your local Eastern Star chapter and contact them and express you're interested in joining the group. Then you get to know the people you'll be spending time with in that particular group. So if you're in Texas, you join the Eastern Star in Texas, right? As an example. In some cases, they do also have women Masonic lodges, which you could join also. But you contact them, you express your interest in joining, you express why you want to join. They will usually spend some time with you, they'll grab coffee with you, they'll get to know you, they'll talk to you about why you want to join, and you go from there. Keep in mind, it does cost money to be a Freemason or to join Eastern Star. Dues can be anywhere from $25 a year to a couple hundred a year. It just depends on how expensive the area you want to join is in. If you want to join an Eastern Star Lodge in New York, it's going to be probably way more expensive than if you want to join one in small town Texas. Hold on just one second. I'm just looking to see if Switzerland's Eastern Star. Okay, so you've got two choices. The Adventure Smokey the Bandit, um, Zurich. I mean, the best thing to look up would be, let me see if I can copy and paste this, put it in the thing. This looks like your best bet. I wish I knew more about Switzerland so I could give potentially better options, but Grand Lodge, um, Grand Lodge of Women in Switzerland, GLFS, that you should be able to, um, do you see that on there? Grand Lodge of Women in Switzerland, GLFS. You should be able to find something there. I mean, Switzerland might be. Masonic Satanism is not the same thing. It depends. Usually every month. Now, again, I can't speak because everybody does it differently, right? So the way it operates in Switzerland is not going to be the same as the way it operates in Canada. But in my experience, generally it's every month they meet with breaks in summer. But if you want to be really active, you can, in theory, I'm at my Masonic Lodge every day of the week. Um, like Portugal. Well, I think Portugal is more Catholic, right? So the York would probably be more popular there. Yeah, Vedic. Let's not use. I mean, look, I'm not one who gets particularly, annoyed by it, but I'm not a huge fan of the R word. So let's try not to use that, especially not just jump on the stream with it. You're kind of coming in hot with that one. Better to avoid using the R word. Um, no worries, Vedic. It's okay. I appreciate you being here. I know, unfortunately, or I don't know. It seems like the R word has become a lot more common. I've been seeing it pop up a lot more on YouTube. In fact, there used to be a rule in YouTube that you weren't allowed to say it, or if you did, you got demonetized. Lately, though, that rule has changed, but I still try to avoid using it as much as we can. Um, I mean, QWSS, you're asking me now about religion, which is not the best thing. Um, I don't know enough about it to say. I think Jesus was Jewish, right? And Christian. Or Jesus was Jewish, and then he, I guess, was responsible for the creation of Christianity. I don't know. Beyond that, talk to a priest, talk to a rabbi. I don't know what you mean by coherent nephew. He may. I mean, I don't know. But ultimately, you have to join Freemasonry out of your own free will and accord, not to make your family happy. So do it if it speaks to you. Like my dad was a Freemason, and my grandfathers were both Freemasons. But at no point did they ever make it out to be like, I have to join, or they expected me to join. They just kind of always left it up to me to decide if I wanted to join, yes or no. And I decided to of my own free will. I find when people join exclusively to make their family happy, it usually is not a good thing. Now, you can join and, as an added bonus, make your family happy, make your uncle happy, but that's not the main reason you should want to join. It was a military order and a economic order. Was No worries, Vedic, no worries at all. It was military and economic order. Please take a moment. Once again, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, let me know. Thank you all for joining. I'm truly grateful. They did. Well, I mean, they started the first international banks. I'm not a big fan of, like, I think you could look back to ancient Rome and see, like, Crassus were bankers, but international banks, they were the first to start those. Hello, Afrith. Thank you for being here once again. Saren, I've not visited a satanic church anywhere. I mean, I'm not opposed to them per se. I don't know anything really about them. I mean, it seems to me, like based on everything I know, following or creating a church based on Satan is probably not a good idea, at least from what I see. That they could have beautiful buildings, but I mean, I'm not going to tell them what to do or not to do, I suppose. That is true. Friday the 13th did come about because of the Knights Templars and because of when they were, for lack of a better term, Order 66, which it's one of those things people don't realize it, so it's interesting. Mayo, I mean, it would make life more interesting, but keep in mind, in those scary movies, in those horror movies, usually one person survives and like 10 are gone. So you would probably not be on the winning side of that equation from a statistical perspective. It's kind of like when I hear people talk about they kind of wish that we could go to like some type of apocalyptic scenario because life would be so much easier in a post-apocalyptic world. It's like, no, it wouldn't. First of all, you probably would not survive and it would not be any easier. What do you guys who say that any guy who's not Christian? So I'm not a fan of extremism myself, Vedic. I think extremism is usually a very harmful thing. What I will say is, so this channel is about Freemasonry, right? And is meant to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located. Freemasonry is not a religion, and because it's not a religion, one of the things we don't do is we do not make promises of salvation or threats of damnation. So I have no idea as a Freemason how one gets into heaven or how one, avoids damnation. If you want to know, you have to check with your priest or with your rabbi or with your imam. It's not my place to say because I don't know. But I do think, as a general rule, religious extremism is never a healthy thing. I just can't imagine how it could be. I should study more Templar history, Chris, especially with this channel. I know the basics, but when I say that, I mean I know the very, very basics, and that's it. They did. That's true. They are beautiful. I've heard them. Yeah, I think there's some on YouTube. They are beautiful. Well, I mean, nothing in life is 100%, right? Which means I don't care how good the King of France was, how well organized or well funded he was, especially even with the Pope. They're not going to take out 100% of the Knights Templars. It's just an impossibility. Some will find a way to escape. Especially back then, you had no ability to trace people, like electronically. Freemasonry is not a religion, Vedic. Freemasonry is not a religion. Freemasonry is a civic club or civic group. Um, People don't like to pay debts, whether you're a king or not. People don't like to pay debts, right? Unfortunately. And so if you have the authority and the power as a king to, you know, not pay your debts, I guess you take advantage of it. Obviously, nobody's going to deal with it nowadays, but nowadays, our rulers can't do those things, which is a good thing. But life is a lot different in 1308. Wee banger. Welcome. Everyone who's joining us, welcome. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Any that's different Freemasonry, please let me know. Positive, negative, or neutral. Life would be great without any hatred, at least any hatred of other people. You should hate actions, right? Like, obviously, I hate crimes. Pick your type of crime, but there's certain crimes I hate. I hate, decisions people make, but you don't hate the person, you hate the decisions they make. Um, um, but I do think, as a general rule, hatred is not a helpful thing for life, for obvious reasons. King Philip, yeah, what was the king of King Philip was the king of France, right? Who was the Pope again? I forget the name of the Pope. So one thing I want to talk about, I don't know, I don't know if people are evil or not. I don't know. Look, there are many people I don't like. There are many people. I tend not to like people as a general rule, to be honest. I like animals more than people. But evil, maybe. I don't know. Well, thank you, Saren. I'm glad you really enjoy my Medium articles. I'm trying to grow across the board, right? I'm trying to grow. Um, I'm trying to grow my Medium, my YouTube, my X, all that stuff. One thing I'm thinking of doing actually is, instead of doing the 24-hour stream again, do a 24-hour posting marathon on X. Basically, try to aim for 500 posts, 500 retweets, and 500 likes in the course of 24 hours. Because I'd like to see my X grow once again. All that stuff matters, you know? There's a lesson about that within Freemasonry. Without a doubt, Mayo, it's an evil act. Um, and I think probably people who hurt kids are probably the best example of what is evil in society. I would not disagree with that, Mayo. Um, But it's interesting. I worked in a jail for 5 years. I was a probation officer for 5 years. Um, so I worked with a lot of people who did a lot of different crimes up and down the board, right? From shoplifting through to some of the most heinous stuff you could think of. It was an interesting profession, that's for sure. I mean, sure, Vedic. I'm trying to learn more about different people's religious beliefs because, again, we can't discuss them in lodge, but I want to be able to sit with brethren of different faiths and at least have some basic knowledge of what they believe and how their beliefs operate because I think it shows as a sign of respect to them and for them. Um, but yeah, as Mayo said, and certainly I don't think you could argue in terms of the most evil acts, harming kids has to be the most evil act I can think of, without a question. Um, 49 votes. No is at 73%. Yes is 27%. Again, that makes me happy because it means new people are finding this stream. So for that, I'm grateful. Um, the So yesterday, right, we had a 24-hour stream. It was absolutely incredible. And then from there, we did a stream of the Windsor Detroit fireworks. The theme of the fireworks was Detroit Go for Launch, which I thought was awesome to hear as a theme. Detroit, without question, is an incredible, incredible city, as is Windsor. It's a celebration of two incredible cities. It's a celebration of two incredible communities, and it's a celebration of two incredible, well, a state and a province, and of two incredible countries. And I'm grateful for them, truly. Thank you, Highlander. Um, I think that, I've said this before, we within Freemasonry need to be celebrating our communities. The fact that we're not simply Masons. We are, like, I'm not simply a Mason. I'm a resident of downtown Windsor. I am a Windsorite. I am an Ontarian, and I am a Canadian. And I'm neighbors to one of the greatest countries in the world. And I want to celebrate all of those things. Doing so, if nothing else, what it does for Freemasonry is it demonstrates and indicates our relevance to our communities. Yesterday, I talked about whether or not Freemasonry will still exist in another 50 years. Whether or not Freemasonry still exists in another 50 years is going to be dependent on whether or not we are relevant to our communities and relevant to the communities in which we're located and our entire world in some ways. That relevance sometimes takes the form of being a cheerleader for our communities, for the fireworks, for the economy, for local businesses, whatever else it might be. And there were a lot of things I think that we could have done last night that we as Freemasons didn't, that I as a Freemason didn't, and I want to think about next year. For example, handing out water bottles. You can even get small water bottles like this, but putting in, instead of like this label, creating a label that says water courtesy of local Masons, Windsor Masonic Lodge 403, and having on the label a QR code that you can scan with your phone. And it'll take you to a website that gives you information about being a Freemason or how to join, right? And even if we hand out, let's say, 500 water bottles, even if of those 500, just 20 people that night contact us, that's 20 people we would not have had otherwise, but those other 480 people may not contact us that day, but that doesn't mean they won't keep Freemasonry in the back of their mind and maybe 5, 10 years down the line decide to contact us, right? This is about Freemasonry, Patrick. The other benefit of having and handing out water bottles is if it's a hot day and a warm day, it shows we care about the health of the people, um, uh, care about and help the people in the community by, keeping them hydrated. Well, I don't think we need to know what's real in a most literal sense, Vedic. Like if I don't think it's nonsense. Like if I'm rolling down the street, it doesn't matter whether I know that this is reality or whether I think this is a simulation and on a computer simulation somewhere. I'm still experiencing pain and pleasure, and if it's hot, it's hot. If it's cold, it's cold. I can't go outside in a really, in a heat wave and say, well, it's just a simulation, so it doesn't matter if I suffer heat stroke. It still matters, right? Sometimes basic truths are valuable in and of themselves. So if not bottles of water, another thought could be those mini fans that you could use to keep yourself warm. It could, or keep yourself cool, excuse me. It could be bags of popcorn, I think is a really good idea as well. Again, all of these things, the key thing is, first of all, you hand them out, but second, you have a label on them of some sort that says who's handing them out and where they're from, and allowing people to use a QR code to scan and check these things, right? Um, Even using and keeping track of the QR code, not QR code, excuse me, the hashtags matters a lot. So if I'm hashtagging something, like yesterday, the hashtag, the theme for the fireworks display was Detroit Go for Launch. So what we could do is we could hand things out and say, congratulations, Windsor and Detroit, you are truly hashtag Go for Launch from lodge name, lodge number, a QR code, a phone number, some way that they can contact us. People love little things like that. I mean, I think keeping it seasonal helps. A bottle of water is a great thing to hand out during summer, right? Popcorn is a great snack to hand out during summer, especially for an outdoor event. If it's something in winter, hot chocolate, right? Set up a hot chocolate booth. Now, obviously, part of what you need to do with that is you need to make sure that you are getting the proper licenses at a city. But most cities, they don't make it too hard to get a license to hand out, for example, hot chocolate in winter, ice cream in summer, especially on events like that. There is probably a couple thousand people throughout the riverfront on both sides of the border. So again, get a ice cream, uh, not an ice cream truck per se, but one of those like bicycles with ice cream coolers on it. Hand them out for free. Probably not that expensive. Hold on just one second. How much for 500 custom? I think caramel popcorn would be awesome. Again, yes. I mean, Vedic, one of the things we could look at doing is, one of the things we could look at doing, obviously, is handing out healthy food as well. I'm always saying we as Freemasons should care about our health, but I think sometimes it's valuable not to. So for Imprint Canada, for example, you can get customized bottles of water for between 155 to 209 with with a custom label. Um, you can get mints and gum. You can get candy jars. You can get chocolate bars. You can get popcorn, nuts, and snacks. They have, for example, mini milk chocolate pretzels, oats and honey granola bars, trail mix. Again, you want to think about nuts and allergies, so I probably want to go with those just because of the danger of potential allergies for nuts, especially handing out to a large group of people. Um, Ballpark peanuts, but again, think about allergies. I probably wouldn't use those. Heck, you can even hand out tissues, right? If it's hot out and you're sweating, there are cookies. You can create, a single individual cookie with a custom package. So again, to me, looking down, I know when I was watching the fireworks and I was watching all the people coming to the river, coming to the river to check it out, I was thinking, right, how many people could we have handed stuff out to and supported our community? That would have been really cool. Looking back, I hope that we'll consider doing it next year. And I might look at actually doing something like that next year. Let me see. I'm going to create a new poll. What would you most like to receive as a gift during a public celebration event? Free bottle of water, free bag of popcorn, free bag of candy, free hot chocolate, or coffee. All right, there we go. Let me know what you guys most want to receive. All right. That's an ideal plan. I love horror movies the most as well, Mayo and Oreos, out of every other genre. So, based on these, what would you most like to receive as a free gift during a public celebration? Free bottle of water, free bag of popcorn, free bag of candy, free hot chocolate. If there's something else you would like, let me know. Um, because maybe I have some other ideas. You can even look at, like I said, now you need to get city municipal licenses and things like that. Um, you can get like a pedal pop ice cream truck, things of that nature. Branded ice cream truck rentals, you can do those as well. Now it's going to be expensive, but that, especially in summer, if it's hot, might be really worth it. Sure, mayo and Oreos. Free burger and fries is a good idea. The problem though, free burger and fries is very expensive. Probably more so than these things. We got to think about like I'm trying to think what the word is now. You got to think about and keep in mind um, uh, economies of scale, right? So 500 water bottles is probably not that expensive, relatively speaking. 500 burgers and fries, you're not getting a significant reduction in the price, right? Chilled cans of beers, that's not a bad idea, Vedic, but the problem is, again, licenses. To, serve beer and alcohol in Ontario, um, you need to get your smart serve and probably some different insurance as well. Can of beer. Again, it's not a bad idea. It's just I have no idea what all the different rules and regulations are, but it would suck because I know you need your smart serve, and obviously beyond smart serve, that would be very expensive. But it's a good idea. It's just how do we do it in a way that's cost effective and compliant with whatever requirements we have. Really, mayo and Oreos. That's a good idea. That's really interesting. Jerky. People like jerky. It's good for you. I mean, relatively speaking, it's really good protein. And also, like deer jerky is a more memorable type than, let's say, beef or other types of jerky, right? So the fact that it's unique and different, I think that's really cool. Why do Freemasons stalk people? Sorry, faithful martyr. I've been a Freemason for 20 years. I've never seen any Mason stalk anyone. Now, I will say if you are getting stalked, I don't care if it's a Mason or not, contact the police, obviously, as you should do. Um, I mean, I've seen like stores that serve different types of jerky. I've seen stores that serve ostrich jerky. I think that'd be a really interesting idea, and jerky's not something I thought of, but that's a good idea. So I've heard there's types of ticks that make you allergic to red meat. Um, Noodle, hello, how's it going? Thank you for being here. Hit that like button. Let me know how you're doing and any thoughts you have and you want to share on Freemasonry. Let me know if you voted in the poll. If you're attending a public event or a celebration, last night's fireworks, what would you want to get as a free gift most? Um, a free bottle of water. All of these are assuming we have customized labels on them that show you how to come to the Masonic Temple. Free bottle of water, free bag of popcorn, free hot chocolate or coffee. Interesting. So hot chocolate, coffee, and bag of popcorn is in the lead. Bottle of water is at one vote. Obviously, for the free hot chocolate, coffee, we wouldn't hand out customized bottles. We'd hand out customized coffee cups with the information on it. The problem with that, though, is normally a coffee club, not coffee cup, people will just throw it out after they won't look at it. A, it's because it's like harder to keep. A bottle of water or a bag of candy, you might be more likely to keep at least the bag because it's easier to carry and has the information on it. Liberty, how's it going? Whose messages were taken out? Where's Yin Yang? I don't know. Oh, Ying. Well, I don't ever discuss the specifics of any type of Masonic ceremonies or rituals. The reason is they're private. I'm not going to say whether they were true or not, but here's the problem with when people start to discuss and give what they think are specifics of Masonic ceremonies. Either, if they're right, it acts as a spoiler, and all that does is ruin the experience for the people coming through. Because the beautiful thing about Freemasonry is it's like going to see a movie. If you don't, if you don't know what's going to happen, then you're going to be more enjoy the experience, and it's going to be more meaningful to you. But by the same token, sometimes being given false or wrong information is as bad as being given spoilers because then you go into it expecting something to happen and it doesn't, and now you're spending the whole time instead of being present with what is happening expecting something to happen because every ceremony is different, every ritual is different. So I'm not going to confirm nor deny what Ying said because it's not my place to confirm nor deny. It's not my ritual to be sharing. It belongs to the craft as a whole. But I will say is don't go into Freemasonry expecting things. Go into Freemasonry without spoilers. Just enjoy the experience. The other thing I'll say is everything in Freemasonry is meant to provide a moral or ethical lesson. So if I look back, one of the things that Freemasonry does remind you of is your own morale, your own mortality, the fact that you will die soon. When I say soon, it could be 100 years from now, it could be 20 years from now. That's soon in like in the sense of the world, right? Humanity's been around for 200,000 years. Whether you live for, you know, 30 years, or even if you live for 300 years, you would not be living for that long in the great scheme of things. And so, because of that, because it reminds you of your own mortality, it actually does really help, I find, in that it teaches you to be grateful for the time you have here on earth and the time you have today, and that you should not in society be taking that for granted. Um, we do not want a new world order. We do not want to enslave humanity, and we do not want anybody to accept the devil. None of that is true Liberty Bible Institute. Um, I mean, I made me a Freemason doctor. Um, I mean, I will say, I've said this before, I've been to thousands of Masonic meetings all around the world. I've been part of, Masonic ceremonies all around the world. I've seen things that are meaningful. I've seen things that are valuable. I've seen things that are help me become a better person, or at least a more ethical person. I've never seen anything that I would describe as evil, nor is there anything that is against one's civic, religious, moral, or familial responsibilities. Nope, doctor, respect. Nobody invited me. Freemasonry is not an invitational organization. If you want to be a Freemason, it's up to you to take the first step by approaching the lodge and expressing your interest in joining. It's up to you to do so. Um, that is the idea that you need to be invited is not true. A lot of people end up not joining Freemasonry because they think they need to be invited and wait for an invitation, which is simply not the way it works. You join of your own free will and accord, and you stay of your own free will and accord. No one can make you stay a Mason either. We've had plenty of people join, decide it's not for them, and leave. So as for what Ying was saying, I neither confirm nor deny. Every Masonic ritual is different. Every Masonic ritual is unique in terms of jurisdiction, but every Masonic ritual provides a very valuable lesson and valuable bonding experience between you and your brethren. You do pay dues. My dues, I'm a member of 5 Masonic lodges. My cheapest dues are $25 per year. My most expensive dues are $250 per year. Um, Canada is the greatest country in the world, but I say that as a Canadian. Vedic, you say you're from India, so you should believe that India is the greatest country in the world. That's fine. Then don't join, right? I mean, it's one of those things where it is what it is for you, right? So if to you Freemasonry sounds like a scam, then don't join. Um, it's up to you. I don't think it's a scam because I've got a lot from it and I've been grateful for it. But everybody will have their own relationship with Freemasonry, and that's okay. Even if you're not a Freemason, you might have a relationship with it in the sense that you might have family members who are Freemasons or friends. You might go to events or celebrations at these buildings, whatever it might be. Meet on level apart on the square, absolutely. David Solomon, no idea what you're saying. Mayo is, well, he is a mod, so be nice. I know cows are sacred. I'm nearly positive cow feces are not. Um, that sounds vaguely mean. I mean, look, how something becomes sacred or not sacred in a culture, it's going to change depending where you're at, right? Like for example, I love bacon, but some cultures it's prohibited to eat bacon, so be it, right? Shriners are awesome. To be a Shriner, you must first be a Freemason, right? You must first be a Freemason and a Master Mason, and then you become a Shriner. Everybody loves pizza, Zig. Everybody loves pizza. Who doesn't? Honestly, though, I don't think we can hand out pizza for free, but that's one option. So far, interesting enough, in the votes, 12 votes, uh, three people are saying free bottle of water, three people are saying free bag of popcorn, uh, two people free bag of candy, four people free hot chocolate coffee. Now, the other thing that's worth considering is how can we brand this not simply with our Masonic information, but also something that supports local. So, for example, Soda Pop Bros here in Windsor has local soda pop flavors. Do we create like a Windsor-based soda pop flavor of some sort? Call it like Windsor's Wonder and make it a certain flavor, whatever it is, to celebrate local Windsorites as well as the events. I think that's really cool also. Many Freemasons love hot chocolate. You're not wrong about that. No, David, we're not going to do Oreo and barbecue. I know Oreo and Mayos would say we should hand out mayonnaise with Oreo cookies, but that would be terrible. Well, I mean, I think Freemasonry, we are pretty much as open as we can be. I mean, I'm working on it right now, trying to be open on this channel about it. But you got to understand, first of all, the Masonic rituals are not for us to share, but they don't belong to any one Mason, right? It's like a family recipe. The reason why I don't share my family recipes is because they don't belong exclusively to me. They belong to my whole family. So they're not mine to share. But also, maintaining the secrecy of the rituals maintains the bonds of brotherhood between past, present, and future generations. If I start to share them, all that does is limit how connected I am to my brethren. And it also provides spoilers or false information that become expectations, neither of which are fair. Mayo, yes, I concur with that 100%. Mayo and Oreos are delicious. Mayo and Oreos, no. Barbecue chicken with sweet Hawaiian rolls is delicious. You're going to clip that and now tell everybody that I think mayo and Oreos are delicious. No, Zig. Now this whole channel has just got out of control. Masons are people, and we're not trying to cover ourselves up with good deeds or cover ourselves up in any ways. I mean, I suppose doing good deeds is good in the sense that it helps others, but we're not trying to cover up anything with good deeds. We're simply people trying to, enjoy one another's company and in some ways make our communities a better place. I mean, rabbit's supposed to be delicious. I don't, I've had rabbit before. It's really, really good. Um, rabbit is very gamey, but I've had rabbit on a couple of occasions. It's really delicious. I'd like to eat more of it, to be honest, because I like the way it tasted. We've never punished people who expose the secrets. If you're going to expose the secrets, you're going to expose the secrets. So be it. Um, there's nothing we can do about it. And in some ways, it's our own fault because we allowed someone to join who was of the type of character to expose secrets. So really, it's on us more so than anybody else. No, I've known many people who've exposed the secrets. Go online, you'll find secrets exposed left and right. I mean, I said before, right? I don't expose the secrets, but that's on me. And I don't try not to let people either claim to expose the secrets or literally expose them on here either. But then it's not a punishment to be timed out. No, because I'm still alive, so how much of a death cult could it be? And I've been a Mason for 20 years. And if it was a death cult, I would have been the first one gone because I've been to thousands of Masonic meetings, not just five, but I've been to 1,000 Masonic meetings or 1,000 Masonic meetings all around the world. I'm very lucky to have been able to travel all the places I've traveled and seen all the Masonic lodges I've seen. How much money? None. I mean, I've paid them way more than, like so they don't give me any money. Now, they did very early on in my Masonic career buy me a tuxedo because I was taking an officer position and we have a dress code that officers wear tuxes. I was going to school at the time. I did not have the money to buy a tuxedo. And there have been Masons, for example, who, and I've seen it before on 3 occasions, who did not have the money to pay for their rent or their mortgage. And Freemasonry stepped in and assisted them by, helping them out with their mortgage or their rent. It not only made sure they remained in their, it made sure they did not only remain in their home, but their families as well. But that's the exception. Very often, if you're lucky, you as a Freemason will never need to rely on benevolence or assistance from the lodge. You just pay your dues. I mean, and I get free meals, which is nice as someone who doesn't cook for myself. Um, why does it not make any sense? Liberty, that's strange. If you're the type of person who thinks that to be part of something, you must get money from it, I think you live a very sad life. Um, Infiltrate away, Zigmatis. Well, the Lost World, I have no clue. I've never heard of the Lost World before. Hiram Abiff and the construction, Hiram Abiff. I mean, interestingly enough, the term Hiram Abiff, a lot of people think it comes from the Bible. It doesn't. The word Hiram comes from the Bible, not Hiram Abiff. But in Masonic lore, he was the chief architect or the overseer of the building of the temple. So he was the architect who built it. In a metaphorical sense, in the same way you build temples literally, we try to build ourselves to be better people, and we use through metaphor and symbolism, building metaphors and building symbolism as a way to help us remind us how we can better build ourselves and turn ourselves into hopefully better people. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, we're never going to be able to do so fully. If you want, perfect salvation or understand what that is, you need to talk to religious experts. But to be a better person here on earth, to be a better citizen, a better friend, a better neighbor, you can build yourself into that in the same way real or stonemasons build temples. Um, it's not a religion. It's not a religion for several reasons, but the one I always start with is we within Freemasonry make no promises of salvation nor threats of damnation. Also, for taxation purposes, I've never heard of any Masonic building considered as a religious institution. Now, some Masonic buildings may be under a 501(c), which can happen very often, but the difference is a Masonic organization needs to apply for it, needs to fill out the forms, like I can't think of the name, but there's a certain form a nonprofit has to fill out every year. Um, Religions don't have to do those things. So taxation is different, no promises of salvation, no threats of damnation. It also does not venerate any texts or individuals. King Solomon is a very important figure in Freemasonry, primarily because it relates to his building. Freemasonry evolved from stonemasonry and stone Masonic works. Stonemasonry and stonemasons worked on many historical buildings of great importance. King Solomon's Temple is simply one of many. You could use the pyramids as another one. And so as a consequence of that, it makes sense that we within Freemasonry would celebrate or appreciate, at least on a legendary or allegorical sense, a figure like King Solomon. Whether King Solomon ever existed or not, we don't really know, to be honest. But I say we, I mean historians don't know for sure. Well, I mean metaphorically, sure. It's a metaphor, liberty, right? It's kind of like it's a metaphor. It's no different than people describing themselves as, a work in progress, right? What does it mean to be a work in progress? It means that you're working on yourself to make yourself better. In the same way, a building can be a work in progress. That is true of modern welfare. Unfortunately, very often the ignorant do often speak with the most confidence. Well, no, Kavush, it was people. I mean, the grunt work, the majority of the work, I'm sure was done by slaves. Although there has been some archaeological evidence that there were some professionals there as well who were professional stonemasons in ancient history who perhaps were in more of the supervisory roles. I mean, I've never heard of King Solomon as being famous for being a sorcerer. I don't know much about King Solomon. I'd like to learn more about him. From a Masonic perspective, he was simply the ruler over the temple, King Solomon's temple. And the temple is a very important figure within, a very important symbol within Freemasonry. But it's a symbol at the end of the day. Yeah, Vedic, you need to stop bringing that up. Uh, you need to just relax a little bit. Uh, Serving my Redeemer. I'm not a biblical expert. I'm not sure what Matthew 15:8 refers to, King James Version. People draw a knight onto me with their mouth. I mean, metaphorically speaking, serving my Redeemer, I think that's true for life, not just for religion, not just for Christianity, right? Like it's very possible for people to profess to care for something, claim to love something with their, with what they say, and but not truly feel it in their heart. You see that with Freemasonry. Whoa, Mayo and Oreos. I don't think he had to be timed out. What did he say? How old is my mother? 403 years old. We need to calm down a little bit with this timing out people. I mean, Liberty is wrong about stuff, but that's okay. He can be wrong. He doesn't need to be timed out. Um, well, I mean, I'm assuming I mean, I don't know precisely. I think I saw some evidence that it was a combination of wet sand, but also they put down um, wooden, like basically wooden tree trunks as well, and kind of rolled them as well. Look, um, if you're a pharaoh and you have a sufficient and if you have sufficient power and you can basically control people and get them to do what you want to on fear of death, and there's no limit to the number of people you can get to do your work. There's also no amount of money that you are not allowed to spend, and no limit on the time they're willing to see for something to happen. Um, Ultimately, like, yeah, you can build some pyramids over time, right? That's just, it kind of is what it is. And the pharaohs were considered to be gods on earth, to my understanding. And what that means, amongst other things, is that you can absolutely create some pretty incredible things. All right, well, let's, everybody just needs to relax a bit as well. Kevush says, yeah, hello, Kevush. They used army of Bigfoots. And so I do think sometimes it's unfair to the extent to which we knock the extent to which we knock our like there's no reason why I don't think the Egyptians could not have done some pretty incredible things like built the pyramids, right? I think they truly can do some amazing things. It just a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a willingness to spend a lot of money and a lot of resources. In terms of the vote, interesting enough, free hot chocolate and coffees at 40%, bottled water at 36%, popcorns at 21%, candies at 7%. People are not going with the candy. Age is a decreasing number, which takes you closer to death. I mean, Freemasonry, we mentioned above, a big thing about Freemasonry ultimately is a reminder that we are all ultimately mortal. And it's really important when we're thinking about the fact that we are all mortal, not to, be ungrateful for the time we have here on earth, and to make sure that we remember to be grateful for it and take advantage of it. Because in some ways, it's like Rocky said, there is no tomorrow. I guess it was technically Apollo, right? There is no tomorrow. We're here today. Let's take advantage of it. Let's do some good things. Well, entropy, I actually have a tattoo on my arm talking about entropy. I have no idea what the relationship between Saturn and all those other things is. I mean, the third dimension would just be one of the directional dimensions, and the fourth is time. Over time, entropy increases within nature, and as a consequence of that, sooner or later, everything we love is gone. It's kind of that old Stoic expression of so much, which says, what are you afraid of losing when nothing on this earth belongs to you? Which I agree, nothing belongs to us. Ultimately, everything belongs to nature, and entropy sooner or later will claim all of us. So it's better to just be grateful for the time we have with people and for the things we love, as opposed to expecting us to be able to keep it. Song. Yeah, but nobody knows the number of days we have. That's very true. Bourbon, I don't know if that's a positive thing or negative thing. I'm not a huge fan of Russell Brand. Bourbon Whiskey Veteran, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Sunflower as well. Human beings are capable of adapting. You're absolutely right. No, Pastor, I've never believed that. I don't believe even when we're alive, things belong to us, right? Like, I think we borrow everything from the universe, even the things we love. Even our life, we borrow from the universe. But that should also make us more grateful for the things that we have, that the universe would allow us to have them. Um, you got timed out for a second. He'll be back maybe, or maybe not. It's okay. People don't have to stay on the stream, right? One of the things you got to keep in mind about YouTube, and it is one thing that drives me crazy about the way some people act on stream, right? Nobody owes anybody, like, if I'm on somebody's stream and I don't like what they're saying and I say you're wrong and they time me out, so be it. You're not, whether it be moderation or being on the stream or people responding to your comments. That's one of the things I find some of the audience can get a little bit strange about. You're not owed anything. It's my stream. I guess that means YouTube streams. But that's true for Freemasonry, and that's true for life as well, in the sense that ultimately, if you're choosing to be part of something, that thing does not owe you anything. You owe it. Right? That's one of my favorite things from back in the day. One of my wrestling coaches told me. He said, wrestling didn't choose you, you chose wrestling. So if you're not happy with your spot on the card or with your position or whatever it is, that doesn't mean that it's wrestling's fault. You chose it. Consider yourself, I think in some cases, Elon Musk may feel that way, but no, we do not even all belong to Elon Musk. We belong to the universe. Eventually it will, sunflower, according to science. Eventually it will. We don't know. I don't remember when exactly. I think it's like 20 billion years in the universe. Well, first of all, the sun will explode it, but the sun will take it over because it will expand so much. I think the universe will end like 20 billion years or something like that. 33 billion years in the future. We're going to go through the big freeze. The universe will continue to expand. Indefinitely, stars will burn out, matter will disperse, and the universe will become a cold, dark, and empty expanse. So maybe let's just keep in mind we continue to enjoy our time here on Earth, since nothing will last forever, including the universe itself. Nobody knows anything for sure, but we can take our best guesses. My suspicion, though, is about 33 billion years, the universe will cease to exist. Hull 9000. Well, you should have opened up that door for the astronauts, first of all. Second, I mean, maybe karma is the nature of the universe. What I always say though is I try not to worry about it too much. I appreciate that. Sometimes it's good for engagement a little bit, right? It just depends on the content um, as well. And I'm grateful for everybody who's here. Let me know, Hal 9000, did you vote on the poll question? What'd you pick? The reason I'm doing that is because next year during the fireworks, I was thinking of getting my Masonic Lodge to create some different promotional items and to give them away during the fireworks. And I thought one that could be really, really cool would be some of these items here. Bottles of water, shows you care about their health, popcorn, candy, or hot chocolate. Do you have any thoughts? The problem with hot chocolate is that's more of a thing to hand out during winter, I think. But um, oops, we just had a issue here. There we go. Yeah, awful people can. But I think the most important thing is we don't worry about that too much, Sunflower. I think the most important thing is we, instead of worrying about the life other people are living, try our best to live our own life, on our own life well, and not worry about how other people may be living their life, right? Um, because you can't control that, but you can control yourself. Some Freemasons do. I don't. I don't drink, but some Freemasons may. No, kid behind camera. No, you don't. That's silly. That's dumb. If people are telling you that, they're being dumb. So no, you do not. Freemasonry has nothing to do. Freemasonry is about the internal, not external. That means what Freemasonry is meant to celebrate is, are you a good person? Are you kind? Are you honorable? Are you generous to people around you? That's what matters, not um, not any of this nonsense about how you physically look. Kid behind camera, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. To everybody else watching this, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Resurrection, heat wave tap. If there is a heat wave, then bottles of water is probably the best approach. Whether I'm gay or straight also does not matter to being a Freemason. Um, Joseph, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I might, so just keep that in mind. I mean, I don't think that's like when you say over and over again, do you mean like resurrection? I don't believe in resurrection. I don't believe, or not resurrection, in reincarnation, excuse me. I think we got one life to live and we should just treat it well here and do our best to enjoy it instead of worrying about like whether life is a deception or not. If they have their name in blue, it means they're a moderator, and it means they can put people out of the stream if they're being difficult or challenging. Resurrection, Europe is going through a heat wave right now. I've said this before. If you are in Europe, to you need to remember to check on your brothers who may be suffering from heat stroke or heat exhaustion or may not have air conditioning. Check on your brothers. It's incredibly important. During any heat emergency, heat wave, maybe deliver them water. If you are in a Masonic building, make sure it's air conditioned. If it's not, make sure that maybe you either cancel meetings or allow them to take their jackets off or something. Get your fans out, whatever it might be, right? That stuff's really important. But also, if there's any type of emergency heat situations, make sure that you are doing your best to treat them, to check on brothers who may be suffering through the heat, through the cold, through fires, through flooding, whatever it might be. Douglas Marks, no worries. I don't know you, kid behind the camera. No. Um, what is the black hole my camera has? I've never seen an alien. I don't believe in aliens. Um, I agree, Hal. I think at its core, the institution of Freemasonry is a good thing. Now, individual Masons may, it's human nature. Not every Mason is going to be good. Our job and responsibility within Freemasonry is to make sure, as much as possible, that when we are admitting people, we're admitting good people into our fraternity. If we find out they've not been good, then it's perfectly reasonable to just suspend them. And obviously, we inform the authorities. But I think from an institutional perspective, what Freemasonry is a good thing that makes the world a better place when put into practice. Um, well, but again, Mayo, don't be too quick on that button, right? No. Um, HAL 9000. We're not taking care of certain people ourselves. I don't know what that means precisely. Freemasonry, one of the things that you're taught within Freemasonry is to obey the laws of the country in which you live or in which you work. So, taking care of people would not be what that is. Now, what I will say is any punishments mentioned in Freemasonry are metaphorical, not literal, and not real. Um, what's considered crazy is subjective as well. That's very true. I mean, every day I see spiritual beings. If you view people as spiritual, if you mean spiritual as in supernatural, no. None of that is true, kid. I don't think you understand how freedom of speech works. By the way, kid, if you're under 18, make sure your parents' permission to be on stream. Freedom of speech does not mean that individuals cannot either A, disagree with you, or B, time you out or not publish your work. What it means is the government cannot take steps against you, which is different. Okay, well, there you go. You're 19, so welcome to the stream. I mean, even if you're under 18, so long as you have your parents' permission to be on stream. But my point is, freedom of speech does not mean you can say whatever you want. What it means is you can say whatever you want without actions by the government. I'm not the government. I'm an individual who has his stream and therefore will decide what is said thereon and not otherwise. Really? So if I showed up on your stream and said whatever I wanted, you wouldn't at some point push against it? To be joining, please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe, and if on Freemasonry, let me know. Well, the platform can be the message, the nature of the platform, but I mean, for example, if I stood outside of your house and just started yelling things into your house from the sidewalk, sooner or later you would call the police because freedom of speech does not give you the excuse to, invade someone's, for example, personal space by yelling at them from the sidewalk, as one example. Um, well, I mean, some Freemasons believe in spirituality. I mean, I don't know what that means precisely. You'd have to define spirituality, right? Like, to be a Freemason, you have to believe in a supreme being. The nature of that supreme being is up to you. Um, some are Christian, some are Muslim, some are Jewish, some are Hindu, some are Sikh, whatever it might be. But this question and this idea of, oh, that's my watch beeping. I gotta find it now. The idea within that context that Freemasonry is itself, that each Freemason is spiritual. Like some may have very, like, for lack of a better term, concrete views about their supreme being and what it is. Some may believe in science. Some may, who knows what they might believe, right? There's no single answer to that question. Like, my supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through geometry and science. So, uh, kid, I mean, why would anyone want to be a Freemason? It just depends on the person. Like, I don't know, why does anyone want to do anything? Like, for me, I joined Freemasonry for a few different reasons, but one of them was because it made me feel close to my grandfather, who passed away before I was born. Uh, some will join because there's a social safety net aspect in it. Ultimately, though, human nature is such that people want to be a Freemason because they want to spend time with other people. You can do so in a myriad of different ways. Freemasonry is one of many. It's kind of like asking why listen to your favorite song because you like it. And my favorite song is Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. You may not like that song, you may love that song. It's a very personal thing. I have a scab on my nose. I don't do drugs. Doing drugs is not a good idea. As someone who worked in a jail for 5 years and was a probation officer for 5 years, I can tell you doing drugs is not a good idea. This is my job, Potato. Please hit like and subscribe. That's a good reason to join. I think it's a perfectly good reason to join. But what I will say as well, modern welfare, is it's also a really good idea when you're looking at joining anything, be it Freemasonry or otherwise, to think not exclusively about what you can get from it, but what you can contribute to it. I think, unfortunately, very often we focus too much on what we hope to extract from something and not what we hope to contribute. Hal, you get used to it, believe me. Human beings are such, if you want to be on YouTube, you have to get used to this type of thing. Um, that counts. I don't, I mean, you said LOL, but that is, um, you know, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say. Like, yeah, one of the things, if you were looking at joining Freemasonry and speaking to the Masons about why you want to join, and they were to say, I want to join Freemasonry because I want to make friends. And if they were to then ask you, what do you hope to contribute to Freemasonry? And you were to say, I can be a good friend, that's a very good answer, right? Wanting to be a good friend, wanting to be a good brother is a very good answer. So, yeah, I support that. That's awesome. Not racist, I meant race. You get used to it. If you're going to be on YouTube, you got to get used to personal comments. And it was great to see the growth I had in the stream yesterday. Right now, we have got, interesting enough, the bottle of water is in the lead. What would you most like to receive as a free gift during a public celebration? I think next year during the fireworks, I think I'm going to see if I can order a bunch of bottles of water and hand them out to the people and include on it a QR code that maybe leads to information about my Masonic Lodge. What are you, the CRA? No. But if you want to help me get some more money on my pay stubs, do a like, subscribe, and do a super chat. All right, guys, we're going to end this stream. It's been a couple hours in, but my voice is still resting from yesterday, so we got to get it rested a little bit more. I'm going to be posting some stuff on social media soon, and I will be back on tonight at 1 a.m. All right, guys, I'll see you all soon. Kid behind the cam, hit like, camera, hit like, hit subscribe. Be back on tonight at 1 a.m. It was an awesome stream yesterday and an awesome day yesterday. It was great to see the growth, and we're going to see more of it very soon, I'm sure. Have a good day. Think about, if you're a Mason, think about the type of public events you have coming up and some of the ways you can take advantage of those events to support Freemasonry. And I would include within that creating some of these special events, special items, special giveaways like bottles of water, popcorns, candy, coffee, chocolate. Hand them out to people. Support your channel. Or mayo and Oreos, even that. Why not? All right, guys. See y'all soon.